King KO, all facts. With that being said, let's get to it. Believe that. Back with another video. And for today's topic, we got the Oklahoma City Thunder. And first off, I just want to touch on Chris Paul. For the last 3 games, he's been averaging over 20 points, on great shooting splits. I mean, he had the game against the Nuggets where he kind of slouched a little bit, man, but he came back and cleaned it up, man. And, that last second free throw, man, kind of really damaged us, as far as the game, man. But, this last game against the Lakers, he dominated. I mean, he dominated in a big way. You could tell that he showed up and he was ready for this game, and wasn't nothing going to stop him from getting the win. And I mean, my boy was just, sitting out, knocking out 3-pointers, dishing out assists at all costs. He kind of got Shea into the game, allowed Shea to play off ball because Shea was a little off, man. So he really helped Shea get his buckets, you know what I mean? And helped just facilitate and get the whole team ready, to get ready for this big win they got tonight. Ultimately, the Thunder ended up by 20 at one point, and they ended up beating them by, a great margin. I think about 17. I'm not too sure. I can't really remember, but I know it was a big margin that they beat them by. And the last game against the Nuggets should have really been a win, like I said. But, you can't win them all. And CP3 kind of got overly confident and ended up missing the free throw. Can't be mad at my boy because 9 times out of 10 he gonna come through. He's number 1 at clutch point. 5 minutes or less in a game. He's number 1. So can't really be too much mad at him. All we can say is, man, you win some, you lose some, but we definitely proud at the way that the team has been maneuvering. As a whole, he got all wheels functioning. Every gear is in drive, and the car is literally running smoothly. Due to the man with the plan, the one with I think, one of the best IQs that the NBA has ever seen. This guy literally, man, has everything that you need, all the intangibles to be, the greatest point guard of all time, because he has the skill, he has, the IQ, he has the shooting ability, he has everything but height, man. That's the only thing that kills Chris Paul. If Chris Paul had the height, he'd probably be, a top, 25 player of all time. But, you can't have everything. But what I am saying, though, is, man, we definitely appreciate, the work you putting in down here at Chris Paul. As far as growing up the rookies, I see Shea learning, Darius Bazley, even all the way down to Abdel Nader. We just got to get a jump start kicked into Terrence Ferguson, man. But, Hamidou Diallo even stepped up his game. He's doing what he's supposed to. I've been seeing him out there knocking down threes and, taking care of defensive assignments and, really handling his business. But, yeah, let's get on to Shea, And like I said, Shea had a bad game, tonight. But he definitely, man, since the bubble has started and NBA has came back, man, he's definitely been on top of his game. He's had a stretch of games, where he averaged, close to, 20 a game until that 13-point game last night. But he did, other things, like grab boards, rebounds, get steals. He had 3 steals. I think he had 2 blocks. He was doing his thing. But my boy Danilo Gallinari, man, he really been balling out. His stretch of games been, kind of mean too, man. He's been averaging 20 points a game, and he's been having decent shooting splits. And Gallinari, I don't think gets enough credit. Never really has, because if he did, he would definitely be a perennial all-star every year. Just based on his offensive game. There's a lot of offensive-minded players, who make the all-star teams every year. And Gallinari kind of gets snubbed. I believe he was one last year with the Clippers. I think he was on the reserve team. But this year, it seems like he's doing a lot better. His 3-point percentage is up. He's shooting over 40%, from 3. He's shooting close to 90% from the free throw line. And he's shooting close to 45% from the floor, which isn't bad because he doesn't really take, that many attempts from that spot. But I believe if he did, that little step back, 1 foot crooked jumper, like Dirk Nowitzki that he takes, I definitely think he could be a lot more efficient at that if he was taking a lot more of those. He's just a pure knockdown shooter, and I think it surprises people, his ability to take you off of the dribble. Gallinari got his times where he'll take it into the cup, drive baseline, and really try to dunk on somebody. He's fearless. He definitely is, man. Y'all gotta understand, he was Luka before Luka. Over there in the European leagues, the Spanish leagues. Danilo Gallinari was, the big hype. Coming into his draft class, Gallinari was the Luka at that time. Not to that degree, but he was looked at as one of those top players like that. You know what I mean? But let's go ahead and get on to my next favorite guy, on the team, man, which is Lucius Dort. Lucius Dort is just a hardcore, flat out, rough-nosed baller. And he had a great game, man. 14 points, four rebounds, no assists, but he was a plus 15. So he really helped the team. He always going to do his thing on defense. But Steven Adams, man, he deserves all the praise for this game. Between him and CP3, I give them the praise. Adams been having a nice stretch of games also. He's been averaging, close to about, let's say 15 points a game, man, on good shooting splits like always. Adams has definitely been dominant coming into the NBA season, restarting, and I really like it, man. I knew Adams had the ability to dominate the game like this, but he's really showing that. He's showing his footwork and post moves. I just love, man, when he does these spin moves, and I really love when he hits his little Euro step. It's just so slow motion and tricky that it like freezes any big man that's in front of him, because they don't expect him to do that. And his length, he's so long, at 7 foot, that when he does hit that, and then he like jumps to his crooked foot, his off foot, and like fades back with his layup, they can't get to it. It's too long. It's too out there. And he has the ability to stretch out the defense and go over the top of them because of that length. Adam really has the ability down low, and the low post, his touch is so nice. He has the ability to really dominate most of these big men down low. He's really one of those players in the modern day NBA that would really be dominant if we're talking about back in the day. You see that? Did you see that? That's the Euro that I'm talking about. I love it. I love his Euro. I think he should bring that out a lot more. And I'm looking to see Adam step up his game in his playoffs and dominate. I also like that pick and roll, when Adams is the one with the ball handler and CP is the one setting the screen, that guard center pick and roll, point guard center pick and roll that Billy Donovan likes to break out every now and then. I think it's very effective because Steven Adams does have the ability to drive from about 15 feet, and then he also has the ability to pass very well for his size. He's a very good passing big man. He's underrated in that aspect. And CP3, he's a little pit bull, man. He's very stout. He's very strong. There's not too many players who are gonna run over him. So, he can set a nice, tough, strong screen. And I think it's very effective. Every time I see Billy break it out, it just seems like it does the job. It's one of those things that teams don't expect. Then this was a nice play from Adams. He just kind of tipped it forward. That way it could only get to Lou, and it was a bucket. But if you see, man, the Thunder kind of dominated in every category, every major real category. And then, you just see the team's numbers, we dominated, And then the Lakers, they were stagnant, man. LeBron had one of his, passive games tonight. He really didn't score, shoot all that well, didn't facilitate all that well, man. He only got, he had the 19 points on 7 of 19, but it was not as good as the stats tell you. Donovan Mitchell was also having a bad game against the Thunder, when we played the Utah Jazz, so I had to put that on here. He was 5 for 15, one of his worst games, in the bubble, and it just shows the Thunder's defense and how they locked in. Anthony Davis definitely had one of his worst games I've seen in his career last night. He shot 3 for 11, and he was really terrible, man. He really stunk the place up. He had 9 points, 0 of 3 from 3. The combined stars was 0 for 8. They're 2 leaders. You know what I mean? He just had a terrible game all around. Didn't even get 10 rebounds. He didn't try to play the other areas of the game. Steven Adams was pretty much just dominating him on both ends of the floor, and it was just a beautiful performance from Steven Adams, I loved it. This was an elite performance, Adams. But Kuzma, he had a bad game. He had a few moments there in the fourth quarter, when he looked like he was finna get it turned on. So it kind of turned around his shooting percentage. He's 3 for 7 with 10 points. But, all around, he kind of got lost in the game. And you really didn't see him too much, man. He just disappeared. But with that being said, I'm out. Leader. Support the channel at paypal.me/KO151. And don't forget to add me on Instagram at KingKO, all facts. Like, comment, or subscribe for future content. Believe that.